Hi, it's Corrine, and today I wanted to share with you how I made the Thinking of You card that you saw at the beginning. And the first thing I want to show you is up in the upper left-hand corner, it shows which Silhouette Studio you're using. I use the Designer Edition Studio, so if you're following along and you're using the standard Silhouette, I don't know if it will vary a little bit, but I believe it'll be fairly similar for you to be able to follow along. Now, the first thing I did is I drew out the size card that I'm going to use. You can cut that out yourself and score it yourself, which is what I normally do, but I just want to show how you can use the Silhouette to make most of the card. So I'm going to go over here to the left and select Draw a Rectangle, and I'm just going to draw out a rectangle. I will go back and size it for what I want in just a minute. Now, the next thing I need to do is up here grab my select tool, and that way this allows me to work with this box. So I'm going to select the box, and once it's highlighted here, I'm going to go up here to Open Scale Window, and I'm going to put in the dimensions that I want. Now I'm doing a standard A2 size card, so the finished card will be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I need to do the width at 8 1/2 so I can score it and fold it. So I'm going to put 8.5, and the height I am going to put 5.5, and then I'm going to select Apply. Now the next thing I want to do is put a score line down the middle. So over here on the left, I'm going to select Draw a Line, and once I do that, I want to hold the Shift key so when I draw the line out, it's straight. Okay, so I selected that tool, I'm holding my Shift key, and I'm going to draw the line straight down. Now, again, I need to go back here and select my Select tool. That allows me to work with this line. So now I'm going to highlight this by selecting it. And again, with my scale window still open, I know that I need the line to be the same height as my card, which is 5.5. So over here, I'm going to change the height to 5.5 and select Apply. Now, with this still highlighted, I want to use my Shift key and highlight this as well. I want to go up here to my Align window, select that, open the box, and I want to hit Align Center and Align Middle. And that way it puts it perfectly inside the box. Now I'm going to click off of that so I can just select my line here. And I want to go up to my Open the Line Style window. And I want to change the line style right here. I want to make it perforated. So I'm going to choose this one right here. It's the third one down. And as you can see now, it will just basically score the middle of the card for me. So now with this still selected, I want to hold my Shift key and select the card itself. I want to go down here to the group and select group. So now they're grouped and I can move them around. Now what I'm going to do, just for video's sake, just for my sake, is I'm going to select Open the Fill Color window, and I'm going to select the color white. I will be cutting it out from white cardstock, so I don't need to do that, but I just want to do that so I can see what the finished card will look like. Okay, now the next thing is I want to cut a layer, which you could do this on the card, but I like the layers on a card. So I'm actually going to cut out another piece of paper out of black and layer it on top of my card just to give it, I like the little bit of dimension that it gives it. So again, I'm going to select my Draw a Rectangle box. I'm going to draw out a box. Go back up here to my Select tool so I can work with it. I'm going to select this box, go up to my Scale window, and change the dimensions. Now I want this box to be slightly smaller than my card, so I'm going to make it 1/4 inch smaller, which will make my width at 4. And I'm going to change my height to 5.25, which is 5 1/4, and I'm going to select Apply. Again, I will be cutting this out of black cardstock, so I don't need to color it, but just so I can see how it's going to look, I'm going to select my fill color and fill it with black. And that will be layered right on top of here. Now I'm going to do another layer that fits right inside of this. So I want to draw another box. So I'm going to, again, draw a rectangle, do the same thing that I've done, select my select tool, select the box so I can change the size. And on this, I want the box to be 3.75 because I want it a 1/4 inch smaller than my black layer by 5. Okay, so that makes it a 1/4 inch smaller, and that will be layered on top of this, which I know is a little bit hard to see right now. Now, I plan on doing the damask inside of this box. So to make it easy, I'm going to select another box. I'm going to select another rectangle and draw one out. Go back up here, select my select tool so I can resize this. I'm going to click on this and change the dimensions. Now the dimensions I want to be the same width here, so that'll be 3.75. And the height, I've already played around with the numbers, so I know the height that I want will be 3.5. And I'm going to click apply. So now this box will fit inside of this box, which will fit on top of the black box. So hopefully you'll see what I mean here in just a minute. Now what I want to do is fill this with a pattern that I have in my selection. So I'm going to go up here and open the fill pattern window. And I know what I want. It's all the way at the bottom here. And I'm going to select the damask that I have here. Now the damask I got from the Silhouette store, and I will also put the numbers up here on the screen. It is design number 39099. Okay, so I just filled it with that. Now that will fit right in here. So in order to make it fit perfectly in there, I'm going to center them. But before I do that, with this box still highlighted, I am only going to print this out. I'm not going to be cutting this out. So I want to go to my cut style window and select no cut. Okay, that way it will not cut out. I need to go back up here and select my page tools window. Now with this box still highlighted, I want to hold down my shift key and select this box. Now I want to go to my align window up here at the top, select that, and with both of them highlighted, I want to align center and align top. That way it centers it perfectly in my box, which is a mat for on top of the black, and it puts it at the top. Okay, now I want to keep it there, so I'm going to, with them both still selected, I'm going to go down here to my group button and select group shape. That way now I can move these around and they're grouped like that. The next thing I want to do is put a sentiment here, a thinking of you sentiment. So I'm going to select my show library, and I want to go down to where I keep my words. And I know that it's at the bottom here. Okay, and it's this thinking of you sentiment that I also got from the Silhouette store, and that is design number 40913. So I'm going to double click that to bring it into my window here. And again, I've already played with this so I know the sizes that I want. With this still highlighted, the first thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to be printing this out, I'm not going to be cutting this out, is I want to go up to my cut style window, select no cut, and I want to fill it with black. So I went to my fill color window here, and I'm going to select black. Now I don't like, just for me to visualize it, I don't like the red lines on the outside, which are the cut lines. So I'm going to go to my line color window and also select black. That way I don't see those red lines when I'm looking at it. Now with this still highlighted, I'm going to open up my scale window box, and I'm going to change the dimensions. You can move it around and decide, the size that you like. I already have done that, and I want to change the width to 1.625 and the height to 1.060 and select apply. Okay, now that's the size that I want it. I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to use my drag to shape zoom. And I'm going to just zoom in on the card here so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so now I'm just going to put that where I want it on the card, which right about there looks good. And I want to group it so I can move this around. So I'm going to leave this selected, and I'm going to hold my shift key and select the outer box as well. And then down here on the left, I'm going to select the group button. So again, now I can move this around and not worry about it. So let me quickly zoom back out. The next thing I want is I want a border to go in between this damask and the white. So again, like I did in the beginning, I'm going to just draw out a rectangle. Oh, I need to select it first. So select that, draw out a rectangle, and go back here and grab my select tool and resize this. So my scale window is already open. I want to go to the width and the height, and I want to change the width to 3.75 and the height to 0.275 and click apply. Again, I did mess around with this previously and decided what I liked, and this is the size that I liked. With this still highlighted, I want to fill this in with a pattern. So I'm going to select my open the fill pattern window, and I'm going to select a design by Cartabella. And I got this from jessicasprague.com, her website. This was quite a while ago. I'm going to select this pink here. Okay, so that will lay directly over this. Now I could group this together and have it print out like that, but I like the look of the layers. That's why I'm choosing to cut it out separate and layer it myself on the top. Now I want the bow that belongs right here. So I'm going to go back to my library, select my library tool, and go all the way up to where I have my bows. I'm going to select the bow that I want, and the bow that I got was from the Silhouette store as well. It is item number 37446. I'm going to double click on that, and with this highlighted, I want it to be the exact same color as I have here. So my fill pattern window is still open. I can just go back and select the color that I already have, which is again by Cartabella. So I'm going to fill it with that. And now I want to resize it. So I will open my scale window and change the width and the height. So the width that I want, again, previously messing around with this, that's how I know the size that I want. I want 3.755. The height I want at 1.585. And now I will select apply. Now, how I chose the size that I want, let me zoom in to show you here. I simply opened a box and just I knew that I wanted this rectangular box here to be the same width as my card. And as far as the height, I just moved it till I saw what looked good and I wrote down the size that I wanted so I could show you in this video. As far as the bow, I wanted the width of the middle of the bow to be similar to the width of this. And I did that again. Let me zoom in even a little bit more. I did that again just by resizing it, holding it over it, because once it sits on the card, I did not want this box to be much larger than the bow. I wanted them to sit pretty evenly. So as you can see there, that's how I chose the size of my bow, is the height right here of this bow to be similar to the height of the little box, or rectangle, I should say. So let me go ahead and zoom back out. And that is all that I did. Now let me show you how, this is how I layered it so that I could see the finished product. Is I just kind of layered it all here to see if I liked it, and I was happy with that. So I went ahead and printed that out. So let me show you how I loaded or put it on my page to print out. So the first thing I did is my printer is an 8.5 by 11 size printer. So I went to select the letter size that I'm working with, which is 8.5 by 11, and I turned on my registration marks. So I opened up the registration mark setting, and I selected Show Registration Marks. Okay, and what I'm printing out here is this damask with the Thinking of You. What I want to do is select my cut style window, just to make sure that the only things that are cutting out is what I want, which I'm happy with that. It's not cutting out the damask part here or the Thinking of You. So I'm going back to my page editing window, and I'm going to turn this sideways. That way I can fit two of them on my mat when I print them out. So with that selected, I want to go to my rotate window up here, select that, and select 90 degrees. Okay, so now I can put that up the top here, as close to the top, so I can fit more on this page. Now with this highlighted, I'm going to hold my control key and drag it down, and that'll give me a copy. You can also select copy and paste by right clicking. You can also go to the duplicate window up here and duplicate it there, but I just held control and dragged it down to get an extra copy. Okay, so I'm going to get that as close to here as possible so I save room. And I want to get these on here as well because I'm printing these out and cutting them out. So again, I want to rotate that 90 degrees, move it up here, hold control and drag down to get an extra one. And I'll put that right next to it. And I can fit this here, but again, I'm going to control and drag to get another one. That way I'm making two cards at once. So let me rotate that 90 degrees, drag it over. Okay, so now I will do the same with the black paper. Again, you can cut this out by hand. It's 5 1/4 by 4. It's going to be the mat for the card, like I said previously. I just wanted to show how you could do this completely from the silhouette. So I will do that on the next cut. I will rotate it 90 degrees, and I will also hold control and drag another copy down so I can get two copies out of an 8.5 by 11 paper. So I will go ahead and print these, send these to my printer. I will select Send to Printer, and I will then select Print. And when I come back after I print it and send it through my silhouette, I'll show you how. So here I'm removing the pieces from the Cricut mat. Showing you the black mat that I cut out with the silhouette and also the card itself that I cut out with the silhouette. The pieces of the bow, I am distressing the edges with Warm Lipstick Distress Ink. And I'm using a sponge that I purchased from Stampin' Up. It comes larger than that, but I cut it in 4. I'm using ATG tape to adhere the pieces together. And now I'm adhering it to the card. And I'll give it a crease with my bone folder. This is Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. I'm using the end of the damask as my guide to where I want that piece. And here I'm just using my bone folder to break up the fibers in the paper so it allows it to curl a little bit better. The bottom of that bow piece, this part there, comes with a longer tail on it, and I don't know if you saw that, but I cut the tail, it's the top part actually, I cut that off. Just giving that a minute or two to dry. And now I'm using glossy accents to adhere a few pearls on it. I believe those pearls are from Recollection. I got them from Michael. And they are sticky back. However, the glossy accents, when I use it, I never have to worry about them coming off. So that is my card. I hope you enjoyed the start to finish process on it. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. Thanks for watching.